Don't think you're sleeping.
Housekeeping?
Come back in an hour.
Welcome back, everybody. I am so glad that you are here and ready to make an impact at Atlantic High School for another amazing school year. We have a lot of hard work ahead of us, but we have such a strong team beside us that I know we were all going to be able to do amazing things for each other and for our students and for our community. Well, I know this part is not the most entertaining. I wish I were funny and I wish I could make it more fun for you, but it is the Charlie Brown speech time. So, in this flipped classroom, we will be covering some of the housekeeping items so that way we can expedite some of our time together and get you in your classroom a little bit more. So, without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. As you will see in the bulletin board in the teacher workroom, my mantra this year is to see. And it will make quite a bit more sense as we travel down our journey together. But it's talking about 21st century skills, and luckily they all begin with the word see. So I am having to use a little bit of a different format that I normally use, so bear with me. I'm having to use QuickTime along with my Google Slides presentation because my Camtasia that I normally use to make these videos for some reason is not working tonight. So we problem solve, we move forward, and I know you'll bear with me. Just want to review for you the non-negotiables that have been determined at Atlantic High School, voted on by you majority. So this is just our friendly reminder. These are all posted with all of you. So just to make sure that we are all operating in the same way. So as you know, our educators will update gradebooks weekly. One thing I would like to ask is, because everybody kind of does that at a little different time, and so if you could let me know if you plan on having this updated in something I can check every Monday, you let me know what works for you and I'll just kind of build my calendar around that. You will also move around your classrooms interacting with all of your students. You will adjust your instruction and reassess based on your student performance data. You will engage all students through active learning and teach key vocabulary. We as educators will challenge all students through rigor and higher order thinking. And of course, we will teach bell to bell, exhibiting enthusiasm and a positive attitude. You know, something we've been working on quite a bit, especially these last few years, but as educators we work on all the time, and that's building those positive relationships. So, you know, as the saying goes, teamwork makes the dream work, and that's so true. Teamwork amongst educators and parents, and amongst educators and our students. We all have the same goal in mind, and that is to help our students succeed. So do whatever it is you can to help really foster those positive professional relationships. As you will see throughout our classroom impact, I will continually share resources of ideas and strategies that aren't too daunting, but something that you can definitely implement within your classrooms. Another key area that we discussed was important as a non-negotiable is communication with parents. So as long as we keep our parents informed about the success and the challenges that our students are having, it helps develop that relationship to become really that two-way street. You're keeping them informed, you're answering their questions, you're giving them heads up of things to come down the pike. I highly encourage you to do that. And as all have heard throughout their training, throughout their professional careers, it's also really important to have that first line of communication to really be a positive piece of communication. So that helps kind of break the ice a little bit with parents. So do what you can to, you know, build those positive relationships. Another key thing, and we'll be talking about it quite a bit, is our instructional coaches, Amber Moore and Jared O'Donnell. This is something that in education I'm so thankful for that we have, because it allows us to work with others, our peers, and learn from them and get different ideas and just really kind of use whatever help you need to make your classroom the best environment that you have as a vision for it to be. So highly encourage you to all utilize their strengths and their resources. Amber and Jared are more than happy to help you with whatever it is that you may need help with. Just don't hesitate to ask. And as always, I am here too, as will Mr. Mitchell. So if there's anything that you ever need, don't hesitate to let us know. In our building meeting, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the changes for TLC expectations this school year. So just hang tight, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that, as always, they are here for you and whatever you need to make your teaching and your experience with your students that much better. In your JMC, remember to, on your where you see your students, if you see that red circle with the I or the question mark, that indicates that that student has either a 504 plan or an IEP, and their accommodations are listed as such in JMC. Remember, it is every educator's responsibility, and we must adhere to the law to make sure that we are following and meeting those accommodations and modifications. Also in classroom, you will find information, different resources. So remember, utilize that left-hand side for the months where things will be shared. If it's revolving around professional development, if it's just resources for you to have more at right at your hands. So look under the resources tab in classroom and impact. For instance, the discipline matrix, that, remember, we built that last year, and so this has all of the student behavior guidelines from our handbook listed out into a matrix, just to make it easier for you to know, oh yes, this is what our expectations are, because when we follow the handbook and we all follow it consistently, our students are receiving the same messages. So hopefully that you will also find that that discipline matrix is an easy resource for you to follow. If you are finding that students are needing additional help, and this is outside of the academic opportunities time where we talked about last spring, we're going to talk about even more during our building meeting on Wednesday. But this is a great opportunity for you to reach out to that student individually, reach out to parents, talk through strategies, talk through ideas. What are some where is the student really kind of struggling? What are you seeing as the classroom teacher? Explain to the parents what you have done, because first and foremost, you are the expert in your classroom, and you're going to know really where your student could use some additional help from and what could be done. Please know that's also important that if a student is earning a failing grade at any time, it is the educator's responsibility to contact parents. I am really, really hopeful that with our work with our academic opportunity time, I'm going to call it AO from here on out, with our AO time, that our D&F list really should decrease. So, but still remember that you as the educator in that classroom with that student, it's your responsibility to make sure that you make that contact and you are keeping those lines of communication open, and you're doing what you can to help that student as well. Also, don't forget that for any of those kiddos that are needing additional help, and you're using the strategies that you have before you're meeting with a student before or after school, you're modifying, looking for different ways to adjust the assessments or the homework, or really whatever you find that might work best for you and that student. We also have student support services with Mrs. Sharp and Mrs. Peterson, and one or both of them are here in the morning or after school. They're available during study halls. I do have them in certain classes this semester. I have not worked on second semester schedule yet for paras, so but chances are they're going to be in the same classes that they were in the fall, just maybe in a different period. So don't hesitate to utilize them as well, because they are great resources and they have a lot of those relationships with the kids too, and sometimes they can help that student advocate for themselves with you when they can't find the words. All right, the next section we need to visit about is our one-to-one and the classroom management strategies that we talked about as a building, and what is acceptable and permissible and what is not. So as you know, that games, movies, and shopping Yeah, stuff like that is not okay during the school day. So from 8 a.m. to 3:20 p.m., nope, not having it. With that in mind, make sure that you are also being consistent with how you follow those classroom management strategies. So again, if we're consistent, our kids are not guessing, you know, where we're coming from. Everybody's delivering the same message. Classroom management strategies that also should be posted in your classroom. First time, if a student has violated what your expectations are with this school issued laptop. The first time in your class, a warning. The second time, the teacher takes the computer for the remainder of the period. The third offense, teacher takes the device to the office at the end of the period. Again, and if a student takes this to a whole different level and they start to argue with you, well, now it's not a laptop issue, now it's an insubordination issue. So they've kind of changed the playing field a little bit. One area that we have talked about with one-to-one classroom management strategies is what about with study hall? Well, I remember Jared talking about there are some educational games that he uses through music theory. I don't think he's alone in that. There are other educators who use things that might look like games, but they have an educational purpose. So what we talked about as a building is, ask the student to send the link to you as the supervising study hall teacher, and if it's something that you still have question about, don't hesitate to reach out to the classroom teacher that they're telling you um, is asking them to use this resource. All right, hanging items in the hallways. Our building is almost 23 years old, and one way that we help keep it looking so clean is the way that we display things in our building. Several years ago, I had hung in all of the hallways those cork strips. Remember to utilize these to hang anything that you deem necessary, whether it's student work, which I absolutely love seeing in the hallways, so highly encourage that. Whether it's announcements, you know, anything that's school appropriate, that's a great place to hang it. We also have bulletin boards in the H. We also have a lot of great brick that can be used. But whatever you hang that's not on a cork strip and it's not on brick, you shouldn't be hanging on drywall. If you are a sponsor or a coach, make sure that your students also know this. And the only organization that has permission to hang anything on lockers. So again, there's only one group that has my permission to hang anything on lockers, and that's AHS Fuel. If you hang something on drywall, it must be done with painter's tape. We have too many times where someone has hung something on the drywall and it has taken the drywall and the paint off the wall. It doesn't look very good. I don't like that. Let's keep things looking as nice and pristine as we can. So please do your part to help keep things moving in that direction. CLT will continue. We will meet from 7:30 to 7:50, 7:55 in the morning on your department's designated days. Mondays will be social studies. These are not changes, folks, so you should be accustomed to these days by now. But our new people, you need to know this. Tuesdays, fine arts and CTE. Wednesdays, Spanish and PE. Thursdays, English and special ed. And Fridays, math and science. Remember, our contract times are from 7:30 to 3:30. One thing I do want to change here, because on the very first 2 days of school, you'll notice that professional development goes until 3:45. So on those days, our contract time will be 7:45 to 3:45. So again, CLTs, we will plan on meeting that first full week of the school year. So starting, what is that? The 27th, August 27th. Cell phone usage by educators. So when you are in class, not the best time to be on your cell phone. In fact, don't be on your cell phone. Appropriate times for you to be on your cell phone would be your prep periods, would be your lunch, before or after school. Too many times I have read newspaper articles or seen news on educators who are on their phones when they are to be instructing class. Under no circumstances should that ever happen. If there is an emergency that you need to be on a call, then you need to let the office know so we can get somebody to cover your class, because you do not need to be distracted when your number one priority is to be with your class. So again, make sure that you are also being responsible professional. Next item, identification badges. So you love them, I know, but it is still the expectation that everyone in this building will wear their identification badge while they are on contract during the school day. So please make sure that you have those on. If you need a lanyard, if you need something to help make sure that you have it on, just let us know and we will be happy to help you with that. Professional dress. All right, you need to dress for the position that you are teaching. So it is not my expectation that a physical education teacher be dressed in dress slacks and a tie and a dress shirt. That's not appropriate to the position. But it is appropriate for a classroom educator who is continually working with students. So please make sure that your attire for the day definitely sets the tone that you are a highly educated individual who you deserve the respect of a professional. And one simple way of that is through our dress. Okay, I know for myself, I use this as a mental game for for days when like I didn't get much sleep. Sometimes I will dress up even more to play that mind game of game on. Again, I spoke about student support services with students needing help. Again, do not hesitate to use Sue and Denise as they are definitely willing to help out in any way they can. Study hall. Many of you are supervising a study hall this fall, and just know that again, during that first week of school, the first couple days, everybody's going to meet in the large areas, and then as you as a team decide how you're going to, if you're going to move to classrooms, if you're going to divide and conquer, that's great. Just make sure that we in the office know how you are doing that. Also, don't forget to indicate which students you're responsible for those different class periods. So again, I'd say probably the first 4 days when we get through all the drop add, everybody should be meeting in the commons, and then on the 29th, divide and conquer if you so choose. Make sure that you follow all the study hall's rules and expectations. If they are signing out to the media center, restroom, drinking fountain, make sure your students are also using their passports, and make sure they also remember that if they lose their passport, they have to purchase a new one. Okay? Permanent passes. So permanent passes, the attendance becomes the responsibility to the teacher who issued the permanent pass. So if I issued Devin McKay a permanent pass to room 408 during 5th period, well, now I, as that classroom educator and not study hall supervisor, will be reporting his attendance, not Mr. Wiley, who might be supervising that study hall. We're going to continue to utilize the Google Classrooms. Some of you have already added and joined the classes, so fantastic. Thank you so much. So just make sure that you get those added, as that will keep you well informed. You've got the Impact Classroom, which is what I will use for majority of my correspondence, and then you have the Seminar Classroom. And with Seminar, I just kind of want to let you know a little bit about what we're going to start the year with. And obviously the very first day is going to be all of the housekeeping things. I mean, we will start at 8 a.m. with our seminar students and then go to class. We will not meet with seminar again on Thursday between second and third hour. We will meet again on Friday at its normally slotted time between second and third hour. So the first couple days will be housekeeping, getting to know one another, introductions, then starting to plan your seminar poster to be on display in the hallways. That's one of my all-time favorite things. I love seeing what you all do to represent your group as a group, as a team. So that'll be then the next couple days. We'll have some study skills sessions, still working out the details on that. And then I met with the presidents from the various organizations, and they really liked the skits that we did last year, and they thought that that was more impactful than, even everybody in the auditorium with the administrators giving the handbook rules, and definitely more impactful than my recorded videos. So, everybody loves them, and that's all right. So that just kind of give you a quick shot of what's coming down the line for seminar. And all of these drafts are in there, but as we've talked about in the past, they will get posted 24 to 48 hours prior to the seminar. A couple other things that are important: hall duty and hallway supervision. Remember, Kathy has created that calendar and let everybody know where they will be, what they're responsible for during hall duty. When you have hall duty, it's not just before school. Remember, it is also after school. But the after school time is, just kind of within the general halls. Hallway supervision between class periods is the responsibility of everybody in this building. So every adult educator needs to make sure that they are at their classroom door, somewhere visible to help keep things moving in the right direction and keep those positive interactions happening. Your course syllabi, please make sure I have that by August 31st, so that second Friday of the school year. As always, it is your responsibility to make sure that you read the Business Procedures Manual and the Employee Handbook, formerly known as, not formerly known as, always been known as the Employee Handbook. And then also remember that we have our own faculty handbook, which you are also responsible for knowing. Foundation requests. Guys, please, if you have some great idea for something that would really just take your instruction to a whole other level, apply for a foundation grant. It does not hurt to ask, and who knows? I mean, you might get the money. Just keep paying attention to those deadlines. Remember, the applications are always due 2 weeks prior to their meeting. We've had so many blessings given to us from the foundation that I just really want to encourage you to keep applying, keep trying, because you're looking for awesome opportunities for our students, and that is amazing. So thank you, and just be aware of that. Tardies in attendance, make sure that you are recording these as well. It is our responsibility to know where our students are every class period of every day, and this for first hour should not be recorded during 8th hour. By 8th hour, that's too late. This needs to be done within the first 5 minutes of every class. So please do your part and make sure you're reporting that. I've already said this, I'm going to be a broken record, but student handbook, consistency is the key to our success as a team. Make sure that you are reading through all of the materials in the Impact Classroom. I'm hoping that this is not new, and some of our new teachers have already begun this, so this is super exciting. But make sure that you have either a Google Classroom format that you are utilizing, or you have updated your classroom website. This is a very important key for informing our families about what is happening in each of our classrooms, and it's also a great tool for organization for you as the educator. I know it has been a game changer, Google Classroom, for me. Always, as a classroom teacher, be able to answer how what you are teaching is making our students better. How does it apply to the core? How does it apply to national standards if it's a specific category, or a specific department that doesn't necessarily fall under the core, but you do have national standards that you fall into? Always be able to answer for students too, and parents, why they are learning this, why this is important. That is a question we all should be able to answer at any given time. And our answer should be, well, because I love teaching it, okay? I know that I could have definitely been guilty of that many moons ago, but my tune has definitely changed. So please do your part with that. Wanted to give you a little snapshot of where we're going to be going this school year and what we're going to be doing. Our work will continue to be about collaboration, because it's through these collaborative processes that ultimately we want our instructional practices and pedagogy and strategies to improve. so that our students grow and learn. So collaboration will continue. I am still working on ways in which we can do this in a wide variety of ways. So large building versus department versus you know, teachers of light grades. So still working on that. Another component that we will be really looking at as a building and as a district is looking at our mission statement. What does our district mission statement really mean to you as a classroom educator? How do you apply it? How do you strive to meet that mission? And this is going to be, some work that we're going to do together for sure. Another area that will be really important with our work, and this is not going to be just a one-year work target by any means. This is something that as educators we are going to continually strive for, and that's developing those strong 21st century, and I know we're still calling it 21st century and we're almost 20 years into it, but looking at the 6 C's. So these are those soft skills. So we're talking about communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, citizenship, character. Yes, I got all 6. I was like, I felt like I was missing one. And the one I'm kind of missing is one that as a building we're going to build from. And that's working really on improving our culture and continually finding ways so that our 6 C's can be really strongly developed and helping not only us grow, but most importantly, helping our students grow and helping them really be prepared for a world that we don't even know what that looks like yet. So that's going to be, a several year work strategy for us. And so we're going to have great opportunities to look at how to grow and how to learn together and how to challenge one another and how to. So more on that later, but just want to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of another component. And then also something, 2 other main things that we're going to be doing, and that is working on appreciation in the workplace. So really understanding what appreciation looks like for each of us. This is not going to be long and drawn out, but I really think it is valuable. So for instance, for myself, as many of you have known who've worked with me for probably all 22 years now, when I want to show appreciation to others, I do so by little gifts or by notes. But that isn't really what everybody wants or needs. And so it would be really important for us to really be able to know, how do we feel most appreciated? How do we express appreciation for our colleagues, for our coworkers, for our parents, for our students? So we're going to spend some time on that as well. Another area that we're going to be working on is really understanding mental health, self-care for our students and for ourselves, and also talking about resiliency. So as you all know, over the last 10 years, I have noticed a significant change within this component of education. And there are some great strategies and tools for us to utilize and tap into to help our students become even healthier and become stronger and more resilient. And again, I think this is something that will help us as an entire community. So looking forward to some of our work with Megan Wilson in that capacity as well. And then I'm going to also just see, where we're at and constantly evaluate and see what else we need. So that's quite a bit for this little Charlie Brown speech. Hopefully I didn't totally bore you. But this is information that I do think is important, and I hope that helps you start off on the right foot, because without you, this place would not be what it is. And I am extremely grateful that you and I are on the same team. So thank you for everything. I will see you in the Media Center at 8 a.m. on Wednesday.